Hi everyone, and welcome to part 2 of my book haul for the month of December. This particular video I'm only going to be going over the digital books that I got. I did not purchase any audiobooks. The ebooks I will be talking, they're ebooks. The books I'll be talking about are all ebooks. So let's go ahead and get into this. And I don't remember buying any of these. I think these are all ones that I actually won through giveaways on Goodreads. Let's go ahead and get into this. I do want to give you a synopsis of these, and it's going to take a little bit. There are a total of 14 books to talk about, and I'll let you know for sure. This first one I'm going to talk about definitely was one that I won through Goodreads, and that is The Road Renounced by K.D. Schmitz. And this is, let's see if it gives me any, it's not giving me, a lot of these aren't going to give me any genres that I'm seeing. So let's just read a bit of the synopsis and see if I can kind of guess what, if it's adult, young adult, and what the genre is. So, okay. Again, this is The Road Renounced, and this synopsis says, in the storytelling style of Kristen Hanna and Delilah Owens, The Road Renounced is a World War I tale of one soldier's triumphs and tragedies as told by the woman who loves him. Now that's interesting. A lot of the historical, when they're involving war, most of the ones that I read are World War II, so it'll be interesting to read one that's a World War I retelling. So it's told from the woman's perspective. It says, let's see, it's 2015, Prospect Park, Pennsylvania. Suzanne Ryan uncovers her grandmother's diary hidden in the binding of a century-old photo album. So right off there, I'm wondering if it's going to be kind of like a dual perspective, so modern day or 2015 versus the time in World War I. And I do like those dual timelines. Let's see. Thrilled to learn about her grandmother Maud, who died before Suzanne was born, she reads the first entry, written on Maud's 10th birthday, 1915. So it's a 100-year difference. Prospect Park, Pennsylvania. Maud Brewer, her brother Henry, and his best friend Buzz Ryan live a relatively carefree existence, but the darkening conflict in Europe looms, threatening them all with the fight of their lives. At the same time, across the ocean, darkness has already fallen as the Germans march into neutral Belgium and shatter the life of Nurse Martha Peters, whose family is viciously killed right in front of her. She is captured and forced to travel with the German army, each step escalating the rage in her heart that explodes into plans for revenge. But as Maud's story unfolds through the years, it intersects with Martha's, and despite the fact that an ocean separates them, it is clear that the two women share their perspectives on the war. They also, Suzanne learns, share the love of the same man, Buzz Ryan, Suzanne's grandfather. Buzz must not only fight the war on the battlefield, but must also fight the war within his heart. So I think that sounds pretty good. Now this one does tell me it's a mystery thriller. And this one is also one on Goodreads, so let's just plan on all of these being ones that I won from a Goodreads giveaway, unless I say otherwise. So, another Goodreads giveaway. This one is Misfire, and this is written by Tammy Euliano, I'm guessing. I am looking at this, and the cover, to me, from what I'm looking at, looks like it's going to involve the medical field. So, let's see what the synopsis says about Misfire. It says, a device that can save a life is also one that can end it. Cadence, a new type of implanted defibrillator, misfires in a patient visiting University Hospital for routine medical procedure, causing the heart rhythm problem it's meant to correct. Dr. Kate Downey, an experienced anesthesiologist, resuscitates the patient, but she grows concerned for a loved one who recently received the same device, her beloved great-aunt Erm. When a second device misfires, Kate turns to Nikki Yarborough, her friend and Aunt Erm's cardiologist. Though Nikki helps protect Kate's aunt, she is prevented from alerting other patients by the corporate greed of her department chairman. Is this going to involve whistleblowers? I'm wondering. As the inventor of the device and part owner of MDI, the company he formed to commercialize it, he claims that the device misfires are due to a soon-to-be corrected software bug. Kate learns his claim is false. The misfires continue as Christian O'Donnell, a friend and lawyer, comes to town to facilitate the sale of MDI. Kate and Nikki are drawn into a race to find the source of the malfunctions, but threats to Nikki and a mysterious murder complicate their progress. Are the seemingly random shocks misfires, or are they attacks? A jaw-dropping twist causes her to rethink everything once she thought she knew. Kate will stop at nothing to protect her aunt and the other patients whose life-saving devices turn on them at any moment. Who could turn on them at any moment. That sounds pretty good. So definitely a medical thriller mystery. So that'll be interesting. Okay, this next one is Murder on the Motu. I'm guessing, I'm sure I said that wrong. This is a Sidney Blaise mystery. And so obviously it's a mystery. And this was written by Valverde McLean, it looks like. I don't see an age range or anything. So let's see what Goodreads has about this one. 9 friends celebrating their past success. 2 weeks on a luxurious yacht cruising the islands of French Polynesia. There's a typo here, so I'm trying to decide. It's TRE. I'm guessing it's supposed to be the instead of tree. The mysterious death of a woman in a red dress and an equally mysterious detective. Somehow, somewhere, the truth about the past and the present will be revealed. It says it's a classic whodunit with an astute observations on lives, loves, and human nature. Looks like there's a couple of 2 ratings on Goodreads, and they're both 4 stars. One's 1 day ago, one's 7 days ago, but there's no reviews as of yet on that one. Okay, so this next one is part of a series, and it's number 0 in a series. So it's like the prequel, also from Goodreads. The first 4 are all from Goodreads. And I really like the cover of this one. So as you'll see here, hopefully it's the same cover I'm finding. I just really like that. I like that dress style. So it looks like the series is called Wyoming Sunrise, and the title of this book is Love's New Beginnings, and this was written by Penny Zeller, and this one just says that it's a Christian romance. So I am looking forward to that one. Okay, where it all began. Liddy Beauchamp recently moved with her aunts, sisters Myrtle and Fern, to the untamed Wyoming territory. When a teaching position in nearby Willow Falls captures her attention, can she leave her aunts, one of whom just suffered a broken heart, and embark on this new adventure? Will she find the courage to persevere in the midst of challenges, one being a handsome challenge named Solomon Elison? Reverend Solomon Elison has the goal of making a difference. Hired as the pastor of Willow Falls, he must convince the congregation that he is able to undertake the role of a reverend. When he is nominated to be the adult in charge of the annual park tradition at the school, he embraces the idea, thinking the new teacher will be an elderly, crotchety woman like his former teacher. What he doesn't realize until it's too late is that the teacher is far from crotchety and elderly. When Liddy's and Solomon's paths cross in an unexpected way during the park tradition at the Willow Falls School, can Solomon redeem himself in the eyes of the lovely new teacher? Taking a glimpse into where it all began with Liddy and Solomon's story in this tender tale that reminds us that God can and does use willing hearts for his purposes. So it says this is the prequel to Love's New Beginnings, Book 1, which is Forgotten Memories, Book 2 is Dreams of the Heart, and then number 3 is When Love Comes, which number 3 it looks like is supposed to come out in late 2023, Book 2 in March of 2023. So far only Book 1 of the series is out, although now it's the prequel. So, yeah. So that'll be a prequel and a great start to a new clean romance series that I hopefully will like. All right, book number 5 is The Death of Jose, and this is, it says it's a Western frontier story. So this is a Western, and I have yet to read any Westerns. So we'll see if I end up liking this. Let's see. The author is Everett Riggs, and the synopsis: Jose seeks adventure and gold. Vigilantes want his life. Death is riding to Bannock. Jose travels the western frontier, seeking adventure and fortune, but his past haunts him. He arrives in the mining camp of Bannock in the fall of 1863. Jose will soon be caught up in circumstances beyond his control. Vigilantes are coming to hang the sheriff, and he will become a target of their wrath. Does redemption lie in this world or the next one? The Death of Jose is a revisionist Western story of love, violence, and redemption. And that's all that one says. Sounds pretty good. Now with these Goodreads giveaway, when I get the notification, or I'll go to Goodreads and look at their good giveaways at the beginning of the month, the brand new ones, I generally don't read the synopsis. I look at the title and the cover of the book and go, oh, that looks good. The title sounds good. And I enter it. So I don't know what any of these are about. So this is actually the first time I'm reading these synopsises. You know, and some of the synopsises are just okay. And it's more so the title and the cover that's more intriguing to me and is drawing me in. But I don't know. We'll see. And that's definitely the case with The Death of Jose. Number 6 here is Killer Story. This one looks like it's a horror. Okay, so this one does have tags on it. It says it's a mystery thriller, murder mystery type book. So I do like those. This was written by Matt Witten. And the synopsis says, how far will she go to catch the killer and make her podcast a hit? Talented and idealistic young reporter Petra Kovac is on the brink of being laid off from her third failing newspaper in a row. To save her job, she pitches the launch of a true crime podcast about a sensational unsolved murder. Years earlier, an alt-right YouTuber was killed in her Harvard dorm room, and the case went cold. Petra knew the victim. She was once her camp counselor and loved her like a little sister, despite their political differences. Petra's investigation gets off to a rocky start as her promising leads quickly shrivel up. In her passionate quest for justice and clicks, Petra burns sources and breaks laws, ultimately putting her own life on the line. Even as her star rises, she worries it could all come crashing down at any moment if her actions are exposed. When her machinations start to backfire, there's only one way to fix everything and solve the murder, even though it may cost her everything she loves. It says that this is perfect for fans of Karen Slaughter and Harlan Coben. So if you like those two authors, you may like this. And I think it actually sounds pretty good. So Killer Story by Matt Witten. Okay, now the next 2 books are part of a series. I read the first one, and then I decided to go ahead and get the next 2. And there's actually more in this series. So these ones I did purchase, but they were cheap, like $1 each. So they were on a good deal. So the series is called We Sisters 3. The first book is called Rosemary's Gravy. And so you could tell kind of from the title, where it's usually like a pun or a play on words like that. It's generally a cozy mystery. And that's what Rosemary's Gravy was. So these were written by Melissa Miller. There are, looks like actually 6 books. Yes, there are 6 books in this particular series, and I'm only going to read you the synopsis of book 1 to see if it's a series that you want to check out. And I have not read further on. I don't want to read the synopsis of the ones further in the series because I don't want to spoil book 1 for you. So let me just, I'm not going to read the synopsis, it's long. Basically, you have 3 sisters, Rosemary, Time, and I can't remember her other sister's name, but Rosemary is a kind of like a holistic private chef, and she works for this actress who's really kind of high up there in California, and basically, you know, a party is thrown, and the next morning this actress that Rosemary works for as the chef is found dead. And you find out that they think that where Rosemary is the chef, something in the food killed the actress. And then obviously with the cozy mystery, you're finding out, you know, certain things aren't investigated properly. She gets involved in the investigation, finds things out that the police miss, and just kind of goes on. It's your standard cozy mystery, but it's fun. This was actually pretty good. And I will say I did not expect who the killer was, and I started to get kind of an inkling at the end, but how it all came about was actually pretty interesting. There is, I will say in this, if you do want a cozy mystery, and I know a lot of people are trying to read more books with LGBT rep, this does have that in there. It does have a male-male relationship, and it is kept secret for the first little bit, and then it is revealed. But you can kind of, you understand and see why it was done the way it was, but it is a side character, I will say that. So it's not very prominent in the story, but it is prominent enough it's talked about a little bit in there about how things came about and how the main characters feel about the relationship, but it is more of a side character thing. So, but it is there. Okay, so this next book I will talk about is another one that I actually got for like $1. From it was just on sale, like BookBub, I want to say is what it was. It notifies you when books on Amazon are on sale. This one is actually a nonfiction, and it's a true crime, and it says nonfiction true crime biography memoir, and I thought it sounded pretty good. It's Greed in the Gilded Age. This is the brilliant con of Cassie Chadwick. And I really don't know who Cassie Chadwick is. And I can't remember how I came across this originally. I did see it was on sale and I was notified of it. But I think I heard about it from someone else on BookTube. But I don't remember. So many books get recommended. I don't remember if I only saw it through an email from BookBub or if it was actually talked about. It all mishes together, you know? It all becomes a big old mishmash. So anyway, the synopsis for this one says, Greed in the Gilded Age is a Gatsby-esque tale of mystery, money, sex, and scandal. Millionaire had just entered the American lexicon, and Cassie Chadwick was front page news, becoming a media sensation before mass media even eclipsing President Roosevelt's inauguration. Using these newspaper articles, Hazelgrove tells the story of one of the greatest cons in American history, combining the sexuality and helplessness of her gender implied. Chadwick conned at least $2 million, equivalent to about $60 million today, simply by claiming to be the illegitimate daughter and heir of steel titan Andrew Carnegie. Playing to their greed, she was able to convince highly educated financiers to loan hundreds of thousands of dollars on nothing more than a rumor and her word. She was a product of her time, and painting her as a criminal is only one way to look at it. Those times rewarded someone who was smart, inventive, bold, and aggressive. She was able to break through the boundaries of class, education, and gender to beat the men of 1% at their own game. So, sounds interesting. I do like the true crime stuff, so I am looking forward to that. Don't know when I'll get to it, but I think it does sound pretty interesting. Okay, so book number 10 I'll talk about is called Holiday Romance, and this is by Catherine Walsh, and it just says it's a Christmas romance, contemporary chick lit, and looks like it's based in Ireland. So I do like things that take place in Ireland. I like imagining the accent that the characters have, and I love a good Irish and Scottish accent. So this is up my alley. Okay, this one says, she's meant to be catching flights, not catching feelings. Molly and Andrew are just trying to get home to Ireland for the holidays when a freak snowstorm grounds their flight. Nothing romantic has ever happened between them. They are friends, and that's all. But once a year, for at least 10 years, Molly has spent 7 hours and 15 minutes sitting next to Andrew on the last flight before Christmas from Chicago to Dublin. drinking terrible airplane wine and catching up on each other's lives, in spite of all the ways the two friends are different. It's the holidays tradition neither of them has ever wanted to give up. Molly isn't that bothered by Christmas, but in yet another way, they're total opposites. Andrew is a full-on fanatic for the festive season, and she knows how much getting back to Ireland means to him. So instead of doing the sane thing and just celebrating the holidays together in America, she does the stupid thing, the irrational thing. She vows to get him home, and in time for his mam's famous Christmas dinner. The clock is ticking, but Molly always has a plan, and as long as the highly specific combination of taxis, planes, boats, and trains all run on time, it can't possibly go wrong. Which, with that being in the synopsis, that tells me that it will go wrong. And this sounds like it's a friends to lover, which that's, when I read a romance, that's my preference. I don't really care for the enemies to lovers. I mean, it's fine. I tolerate it if it's done well. I do prefer friends to romantic partners. That is my preference. So the rest of the synopsis says, what she doesn't know is that as snow falls over the city and over the heads of two friends who are sure they're not meant to be together, the universe might just have a plan of its own. A totally gorgeous and escapist friends to lovers festive romance with a swoon-worthy hero. Perfect for fans of Sophie Kinsella, Mahira McFarlane, and Christina Lauren. So there you go. Now I haven't read any of those authors, so this might be kind of like a, hey, if I like this, then maybe I will like those ones. I don't know. We shall see. Book number 11. I think this one was classified as a humor. Let me scroll down. Yes, this is a humor. And the rest of these, I only had that one nonfiction book, so everything else was fiction. This is Doc's Codicil, I'm guessing is how you say that. But this was written by Gary F. Jones. And let's see what this synopsis says. Let me go back because this just wants to load weird. Okay. When Wisconsin veterinarian Doc dies, his family learns that to inherit his fortune, they must decipher the cryptic codicil he added to his will. Take doofus squirrel fishing. And they can only do that by talking to Doc's friends, reading the memoir Doc wrote of a Christmas season decades earlier, searching through Doc's correspondence and discovering clues around them. Humor abounds as this mismatched lot tries to find time in their hectic lives to work together to solve the puzzle. In the end, will they realize that fortune comes in many guises? It says it's a mystery told with gentle humor and teaches his heirs a lesson, and then it's just not loading the rest of the synopsis. But it's a humor, and I think it sounds pretty good. All right, book number 12. So we're on 12 out of 14. This is the first in a series, and it looks like so far there's only 2 out. The last book in this series, or the second book, came out in December of 2022, so just barely came out. So this is the first book in it, and the series is called Supernatural Serial Killers by J.W. Bouchard, and book 1 is titled She Wore a Pretty Mask. And this is a paranormal mystery. I love things that are paranormal. And this synopsis says the following. Evil has moved into the sleepy little town of Crater Lake, Iowa. A serial killer is murdering young girls, and it's Sheriff Nathan Murphy's job to stop him. But there's nothing cut and dried about this investigation. The killer drains his victims' blood before staking them through the heart and decapitating them. Nathan enlists the help of an FBI profiler, Lindsay Trujillo, to aid the investigation of these heinous crimes, and things take a supernatural turn when they discover they might not be dealing with something human at all, but something much older and much more dangerous. Why are some of the victims wearing masks that represent the unknown girl of the scene? S-E-I-N-E. Don't know how to say that. Are they dealing with a serial killer or a vampire, or both? Whichever it is, Nathan knows one thing for certain. They are looking for a monster. Potential vampire, yes please. I am more excited for that one. Okay, so this next book I am actually currently reading, And the author of this book actually reached out to me on Instagram and asked if I would like to receive a free ebook of this. So I said yeah, because I thought it sounded pretty good. So this is the only one that I've read the synopsis for, and it gives me right now a lot of heavier science fiction type stuff, because it's, although it says fantasy, I haven't seen the fantasy come to light yet. So I think it's more like a science fiction fantasy, but fantasy is the only tag on Goodreads. But I'm getting more science fiction vibes, because they go into space and they are training to fight, there's a war and all of that. So I'm getting more of the science fiction vibes. And you know what, there is no synopsis for this on Goodreads. So the title is Too Many Shadows, Too Little Light, and this is written by L.C. Ainsworth. Let me see if I can find a synopsis. It's just not on Goodreads. So I did just a Google search here, and it says this is the first book in the Dark Passengers series. It centers around Izzy, who is the heir to the throne of Yanar. And then there's unexplained circumstances. Here is a synopsis. And it does say this is a teen book, so this is a YA, and I would agree due to the age of the characters. Princesses are born to defend their people. Being the best Imperial Air Force cadet, spending time with their friends, and maybe meeting a cute boy is all Princess Astrid Zanab Coursing, better known as Izzy, wants. If only Yanar, her country, was not at war with Petra. If only she wasn't forced to become a regent with her mother while her mother was fighting on the front lines. If only she had not come face to face with the unknown enemies while investigating signs of infiltration on Earth by dark forces. If only she was not in danger of falling in love with the wrong boy during her first trip to London. Princesses are born to die for their people. The Kingdom of Petra, once upon a time the best place in the galaxy for art, literature, and music. That was until the war against the Alliance, a federation of planets led by the Yan Empire. Their last hope for victory, traveling to a planet of savages named Earth, and attacking from the inside their most powerful country, Yanar. The Hindus, survivors of a dead world desperate for a new home. Their last hope for survival, finalizing the colonization of Earth from the shadows, which they started 200 years ago. The fifth column, marginalized group of nature lovers forbidden from practicing their religion by Yanar. Their last hope for revenge, the alienation of the member of the Tens, Yanar's aristocracy, and the imperial family. Petra, Hindu, and the fifth agree the empire must fall. And it starts with the death of a 17-year-old princess. The only problem, Izzy is not just a princess, she is also an Omni, a human who possesses 5 supernatural powers. So there's the fantasy element. I'm only like 36% of the way through this on the ebook. I don't see, I guess looking back I can see hints at the fantastical elements, but right now it's more heavily science fiction. So that's where we're at so far, but I imagine that the fantasy elements will come to light a lot more and become more prevalent as the story goes on, is what that sounds like to me. Alright, and book number 14 that I'll talk about is the Jilliad. This is the last book that I won from Goodreads. This was written by Nicole Mcinnes. I know I'm saying that wrong. This is, all it tells me, the only tag on Goodreads is that this is a fiction. And let's see, and I do remember seeing this cover before with the blue butterfly wings, and that draws me in because I love butterflies. So I'm immediately intrigued and want to know what's with the butterfly on the cover. Alright, so the synopsis of this one, it says, starting over can be epic. Shortly before her 40th birthday, suburban wife, mom, and former aspiring artist, Gillian Kensington finds herself suddenly alone, holding the shattered fragments of a life she's worked hard to convince herself was perfect. Rescued by her estranged best friend from childhood, Jillian returns to the small mountain town where she grew up. There she is forced to confront the dark underworld of her marriage and the ways in which she long ago abandoned what matters most. When further help arrives in the form of an unlikely cast including her first love from high school, a bitter Desert Storm veteran, and a free-spirited pygmy goat, Jillian is faced with a choice that will change all of their lives. Remain in a fever dream of denial or wake up and allow herself and her life to be transformed. It says that this is loosely inspired by the writings of Homer and other ancient Greek storytellers. It's a novel about the choices we make, the consequences of those choices, and, if we are lucky, the chance we get to create something authentic and new from the broken pieces of our former selves. So that sounds pretty good. So those are the ebooks that I got. Most of them, I think all but like 4 of them, are ones that I won from Goodreads. So pretty lucky month, and they all sound pretty good. So I do look forward to getting to these. I am more of a physical book reader, so I don't know how quickly I will be able to get to these, but I am intrigued nonetheless. So that will be it for this particular video. Let me know if you have read any of these books or read from any of these authors. Talk to me in the comment section below, and until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book, and I'll talk to you later.